Do you want to get your business seen on the big screen? Have more eyes see who you are? Is your budget holding you back, keeping you from advertising your business? Maybe it's time you contacted Crossroads TV. Inexpensive 10-day campaign, pinpoint accuracy for demographics and geography, and the ability to select some or all of their partnered streaming services. Call us, 207-453-9895.
It's in my blood, it's in my DNA, it's in my family. I'm fighting every day so I can live in thunder. That's what they call the chase. I accept the challenge, I am running through the flames. Put the time in when nobody knows. Moving in the dark, almost like a ghost. Yeah, we say less, but we do the most. And ain't nobody can compete, that's just how it goes. Every day is dedication, I just wake up and I'm ready. Yeah, I'm practicing my patience. Ain't nobody gonna break me, cause I'm coming here to score. I'm coming here to win, and I think I want some more. Thunder in my system, so I'm running to the flames. Destiny is in my heart, so I gotta find a way. It's disaster, it's pain, it's always just been the same. But we will find a path, cause we chose this lane. You know it's game on.
Scheduled meeting of the Waterville City Council. There are agendas available on the table near the entrance or online on the city's website. Consent agenda items are routine items which are voted on in one motion and vote. Unfinished or new business items are voted on separately. Councilors will be given the opportunity for questions or comments, followed by citizens who must speak at the podium, identifying themselves. Citizens will be allowed to speak one time per agenda item for up to 3 minutes. Citizens who do wish to speak on a topic that does not appear on tonight's agenda will have the opportunity to do so during the public comment section of the agenda for up to 3 minutes. Kicking us off tonight is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Next up, any disclosure of conflict of interest? Any counselors have any conflict of interest, any of the votes that they will take this evening? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to a mayoral recognition. Mr. Walsh, would you mind, please join me up front? All right. I wanted to take the opportunity to recognize, I think you've done a lot of great things, obviously, for the community. So I put this together to show that recognition from not only myself, but just for the citywide, for everything you've done for us here in Waterville. So, Ken, as you prepare to retire from your role at the AYCC, I wanted to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude for all you've done for the community. It's amazing to think that it all started when a guy from New Rochelle chose to accept a job and move northeast instead of moving out west. Change that because I picked that up from your breakfast. You've been an exceptional community partner. I truly feel fortunate to have collaborated with you over the years. More than just a colleague, I'm proud to call you a friend. Your impact to this community is profound and far-reaching. Your leadership has been pivotal, and the contributions that you've made will leave a lasting legacy. Thank you for your unwavering commitment and passion for Waterville. You will be missed, but your influence will be felt for generations to come. Now, therefore, I, Michael Morris, Mayor of Waterville, on behalf of the City Council and residents, do hereby recognize Ken Walsh for your outstanding service and contributions to our community, and extended congratulations on your well-deserved retirement, in quotes. So, again, thank you very much for everything. I appreciate that. All right.
Mr.
Next-
Mayor, just
Yes, sir.
I'm being told that we cannot hear anything online.
All right. Can they hear us now? Okay. Thank you.
I believe they can hear us now.
You believe?
Yeah, I just got a message.
All right, thank you. All right. Next up, we will do a city manager report.
This being my last council meeting, I just wanted to thank you, Mayor, and the City Council for the opportunity to have been the acting city manager for Waterville the past 8 months. It's been a very interesting and rewarding experience, and I really enjoyed my time in Waterville. And I'd like to thank the staff for their support during my time here. They've been very helpful. And there's a lot of interesting things going on in the city, very positive things. That's going to continue. I see many positive things coming. Some announcements coming up soon that really benefit the city. I've met with Nick a couple of times. I'm going to meet with him a couple more times. Nick, you're going to find this job one of the most fascinating jobs you'll have, probably. Just thanks again for the opportunity. It's been great.
Yeah, thank you. I certainly appreciate everything that you've done to kind of keep everything, all the glue together, so to speak, as we've moved forward over the last, 8 months or so. So, yeah, thank you very much. Anyone else, you feel free to.
You've been my favorite city manager since I've been on the council, so.
All right. Any other report or that's good? Okay. Fair enough. All right. Next, council comments or committee reports. Any councilor comments or committee reports this evening? All right. Seeing none, we will open this up to public comment. Anyone from the public wishing to make a comment at this point on anything that's not on the agenda this evening? All right. Anyone online? Yes. Okay. Okay.
Hi, Nancy, can you hear us okay?
I can.
Go ahead.
Nancy Sanford, Ward 1. I'm wondering if there's something that can be done so those of us that are online can hear things from the beginning of the meeting and not have to text people to be able to hear the meeting.
I think Chad and I could probably do a little more troubleshooting in advance of the start of the meeting, so I'm happy to work with Chad on that.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, Nancy. Thank you. We appreciate the feedback. Anyone else? Sir,
May I have permission to act as a youth council representative in the absence of any other?
you do.
Thank you.
Please feel free. Do you want to provide an update as to what we're doing, what the youth council is doing?
Right now, we are working on the Dark Skies
Hold on.
initiative.
You got to speak into the microphone and announce who you are.
James Richards, member of Waterville Youth Council. We are currently working on the Dark Skies initiative to reduce light pollution around Waterville, Maine, and to hopefully conserve energy on light usage by turning off unnecessary lights during the nighttime. And we are drafting up an ordinance to help support that.
Okay. All right. Anything else? You good? Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, with that, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
All right, everyone's here. All those in favor? Wonderful. Thank you. And next, can I get a motion to read by title only, please?
Motion to read by title only.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? All right, thank you. Moving on to old business, Order 228, 2025.
Authorize the acting city manager to sign the trail use and development agreement, Quarry Road Trails.
Move to adopt.
Second.
All right, any discussion, comments? Seeing none, can I get a roll call, please?
Counselor Gilly?
Yes.
Counselor DeBrito?
Yes.
Counselor Klepak?
Yes.
Counselor Green?
Yes.
Counselor Krigbaum?
Yes.
Counselor Beal?
Yes.
Counselor Harard?
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on to Order 229, 2025.
Approve a Central Maine Power Company easement on Mitchell Road.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Okay, any discussion, comments? Yes.
Mayor, last meeting I mentioned that there was a previous easement on part of the line, and Randy up at the airport clarified for me that there wasn't an easement. There was a line between 7.5 and 8 on your plan. We didn't have an easement, but that's going to be discontinued, that line, because it'll be some hangars there. But everything else now has an easement.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Any comments or concerns? Seeing none, Patty, can I please get a roll call?
Counselor Gilly?
Yes.
Counselor DeBrito?
Yes.
Counselor Klepak?
Yes.
Counselor Green?
Yes.
Counselor Krigbaum?
Yes.
Counselor Beal?
Yes.
Counselor Harard?
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
All right, thank you. Moving on to Ordinance 230, 2025.
Amend the ethics ordinance.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion, comments?
If I may, Mayor?
You may.
At the last council meeting, there was discussion about an amendment, but the amendment was never really brought forward on the floor and voted on. So at this point, I would suggest an amendment be made to section 18(8)A, where the language was struck out and also underlined of within 10 business days, that it should be underlined as an addition.
Okay. You sent that, you did send a memo to that, or there's a memo in the packet for that.
Correct. So I
Okay.
would just need a motion to that effect.
I'll motion to
Second.
the amendment.
Okay. All those in favor of the amendment? Okay, any discussion? Move as amended?
Yeah. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Now roll call?
Yes. Counselor
Thank you.
Gilly?
Yes.
Counselor DeBrito?
Yes.
Counselor Klepak?
Yes.
Counselor Green?
Yes.
Counselor Krigbaum?
Yes.
Counselor Beal?
Yes.
Counselor Harard?
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to new business, Resolution 234, 2025.
Approve memorandum of understanding with Bram Public Policy Lab, Colby College.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Okay. All right, this is exciting. Chief?
I'm going to kick this off and turn it over to the people that are much smarter than me when it comes to this stuff. So, first of all, though, I'd like to say, Cornell, thank you. We've had a lot of time spent in your office working on certain things, and I've learned a lot from Cornell in a short period of time here. So, Cornell, thank you very much for everything you've done for us and for myself. I'm super excited to start working, Nick, with you. Okay, so to start off with, as you all know, we've been running a CP program now for almost 2 years. That program has touched many lives in the city of Waterville and beyond. But as of June 2026, we will be out of funding to run our CP program, which I find to be very upsetting. The folks right now that are doing our CP program, doing a wonderful, amazing job. It's hard work, lots of paperwork that goes with it. So number one, I'd like to say, DC Flannery, thank you. Teddy Bates, Cormac Frizzell, Nick Huber, Kaylee Brown, Ira Cohen, Robbie Rice, and Michelle Grass. Those are our folks that are continuing the CP program now. They got thrown a curveball, oh my gosh, a month ago, where all of a sudden the state decided they needed more training. They stepped up to the plate. They went and took that training just so they could keep this program running. So I really do appreciate that. But moving forward, the overall goal of this program was always to try to get a full-time person to run the CP program, because it's a lot of work and it can expand from what we're doing right now. We're doing it 3 days a week. If we had a 40-hour-a-week position taking care of that, this program would expand and expand and expand, and I believe it would be something that the entire state could look at that point in time. But that's a tough ask, right? So moving forward, Nate Bernard has stepped up to the plate, and I'm going to have him come up here and introduce himself. This guy's amazing, and he's really helping us out right now, looking at new grant opportunities, new funding opportunities. And then he also has partnered or has been talking to Nick Jacobs from Colby College, and I'll let them come up and speak about what we're going to be doing moving forward. So, thank you. Nick and Nate.
Thank you.
This guy's always singing my praises. But anyway, so my name is Nate Bernard. I'm currently getting my master's degree in public policy and public management from the University of Southern Maine. As part of my graduate program, I've been working in the city manager's office with Cornell, who, over here. Thanks for letting me work with you guys this semester. It's been great. Sarah's not here, but similarly to her. My work with the city is focused on grants, with a particular focus on finding funding for the fire department's community paramedicine program that Jason was just chatting about, and really looking to find funding so that we can hire a full-time staff member for the community paramedicine program. As part of the grant-seeking process, we've been building partnerships with other organizations in and around Waterville. One of those partnerships is with the Colby Public Policy Lab. Nick, here. Yes. Nick is the director of the Public Policy Lab, and the initial engagement that we're going to be working on is described in the MOU before you today. In this pilot partnership, Colby students, led by Professor Jacobs, will work with the community paramedicine program. They'll manage program data, conduct data analysis, perform policy research. Cost of this is being covered by Colby, so no additional expense to any of the taxpayers. The result of this partnership, I think it will not only improve the community paramedicine's grant applications, but also it's going to improve the program at large. It's going to give us the data to inform and make the case to provide more funding for this program so we can reach the most underserved people in the Waterville community with vital health services. Also, I think this is really going to position Waterville as a statewide leader in rural healthcare innovation, in community paramedicine, and I think we just have a huge opportunity here to create a healthier city and also attract more funding opportunities for the program and for the fire department. Jason, I think it could be great. So our goal from this pilot is to take learnings from it, refine our working relationship. Ideally, we will use this to create a framework for how we can engage the Public Policy Lab further, get them involved with North City projects in the future, establish a really strong bond between the college and the city. There can be talks of town and gown and things like that. I think this creates a really meaningful bridge to get students involved with what we're doing. As long as we have good structure for the programs and have compelling stuff for them to work on, like the community paramedicine program. Kids would have loved to get involved with the solar panel projects that we had just, we're working on with the Alphon Municipal Pool. I think that it's just endless possibilities. So anyways, that's just a little overview on it. I'm really excited about the potential for this partnership. I've been working with Jason and Everett, and really, Everett has been doing everything he can to keep the community paramedicine program running. This can help our elderly population who's aging in place. This can help our unhoused population. This can help people with substance abuse disorders. It is just a tremendous opportunity. So thank you for your time for that. That's a little introduction for it. I'm going to let Nick talk a little bit about what the Policy Lab does and a bit about what we're going to look to do in this pilot. But yeah, thank you very much for your time. And for those of you who I haven't met, nice to meet you.
Thanks, Nate.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you all tonight. I'm Nick Jacobs. I'm the director of the new policy lab that was created sometime last spring. It was a little bit of a blur and has been ever since. Sure. This project hits all the marks I'm looking for. I think this is a real way to engage our students in a pressing public policy issue, and I see real impact coming from this kind of work. The Policy Lab was launched at Colby to help connect academic expertise and our students to real policy challenges facing Maine. I'm a small town guy. I'm not a resident of Waterville. I'm sorry. I live over in across the river and through the woods. I care about our small towns. I want young people to see a future in these places, and I think this is one way we can help them see a future and improve our communities. The lab is not a consultancy. I don't even like using the word advisory. Those decisions and those trade-offs belong with citizens and elected officials first and foremost. But where I see a need, and I've learned this talking to communities and municipalities and state organizations around the state the last few months, is that there's capacity issues. Everybody is facing real capacity constraints, and sometimes that's about gathering information, sometimes that's organizing data that exists, sometimes that's interpreting it, finding external funding opportunities, and that's what we exist to do. We are trying to support democratic decision-making, support communities by adding information, not telling citizens or governments what to do. So often that work so far has involved helping our collaborating partners gather information. In the context of community paramedicine, a lot of that information already exists. Your Chief, your departments, Nate, have already done a tremendous job tracking the impact this program has made. And what we hope to do is engage the lab and engage experts at Colby and students in telling stories with that information, hopefully stories that grantors find really enticing as a way of helping scale this program. And my ambition is to help make this a model for the rest of Maine and the rest of our communities that could look at this as something that they could also do. So I'm happy to answer any questions. My sincere thanks to Nate for identifying this opportunity, to the chief for his enthusiasm. I hope this is the first of a long-standing relationship between this new policy lab and the city of Waterville. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Any comments or concerns from the council? Councilor Beal.
How are you going to interact with this? How will the students interact with the city writ large?
Yeah. So right now, the first initial step in thinking about identified grant opportunities that Nate's already identified is taking the call logs, which do not contain any personally identifiable information, but contain reports of every visit that paramedicine staff have already done. And just trying to get a sense of what we know anecdotally already, the impact it's making in the community, and to tell with more precision what kinds of services are being offered, with what frequency, and what parts of the city. There's information there that I think says, that gives us some important insight on whether or not the visit prevented an emergency response call, which is more expensive than a scheduled visit. So the engagement with the city right now is taking existing information and data and offering our analytical supports to the city in that way. We've talked about bringing some students in maybe down the line, depending on the particulars of a grant opportunity, about whether we could do some interviews with staff and get their sort of qualitative insights to flesh out any funding opportunities. But anything you want to add, Nate?
Yeah. The students will also be volunteers with the city. And so we've talked, Sarah's not here tonight, but we have structured it so they'll be going and signing all the privacy agreements that a volunteer would have to with the city, as if you're working with the city. So we have structures in place on the HR side of things as well. And yeah, I think a lot of the data exists. I think we need to capture qualitative stories from people in the community who've been impacted by this program. I think Everett knows the program better than anybody, so we're going to be leaning on him as well. We have a meeting tomorrow to kind of kick all this off with Amy Madden, too, the medical director for the community paramedicine program. So I think we're going to lay out some really compelling research questions. I think at first it's going to, like Nick talked about, inform grant applications, and I think will just make us stronger right off the bat for that. I think there's also the potential for us to use this data as well to get policy papers published in places like the Maine Policy Review that goes out to all state lawmakers and local lawmakers across the state. I think it's an opportunity for Waterville to position itself as a leader in that, and I think working with the students to be a part of that means that it's a whole community effort. It's the city, it's Colby, it's the people in the community, it's workers with the city. But yeah, we have everything structured in terms of the HR side of things as well.
I noticed in expected outcomes that you talked about presentation materials, supporting a public briefing or city council presentation. I'm very interested in having them do that on a regular basis, at least on the startup. You know, this is a very exciting opportunity, but I'd really like some kind of visibility from the city council. So maybe you could set it up as once a semester, and if that proves to be too much, maybe we could dial it back. I mean, does that seem reasonable to the councilor? I mean, short presentations, but, you know.
Well, it looks like that is
in the schedule, at least for this coming semester, right? A presentation, city council presentation in the midterm?
Yes, our working timeline right now, which I hesitate to, we're having a meeting tomorrow if all goes well, and we'll get all the stakeholders at the table and make sure this works with them, as I'm ready to have a set of students working on this January 6th. I'd want January 5th, but Colby starts on a Tuesday, give them their Monday. Throughout January, they're going to be working 30 hours a week on this, mostly to give everybody in the city time to take their insights, take their conclusions, and then let's get it into some grant proposals. The hope then is that across the spring, and no later than May, they would have some final conclusions and really be done with this, to the point, just that was brought up. I hope this is the first of many projects. I don't think this is the only program that we could assist on. I don't think this is the only untouched source of data that the city is sat on, and staffers are saying, if only we had an extra hour in the day. And in that case, my truest ambition would be, you're going to hear from us multiple times a semester because we got multiple projects and multiple connections. So well, let's start small, let's build our reputation, let's build trust between our organizations. So.
Councilor Green.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm very excited about this. So this particular project is set to run for this spring semester at Colby, because those students will be, the Jan Plan students will be then working on it throughout the rest of the semester, right? So in September then, potentially, so this project would be complete, as it were, and then potentially another project might start? Is that your vision, or? I
mean, I don't want to speak for Nick here. I think to Scott's point over here is that the more that we can get the council involved, that you all want to be involved with this, I think is beneficial, because this is a pilot. The point of the pilot is that we can learn what sort of projects fit for this relationship.
Right.
I think community paramedicine is a home run for something like this. I mean, we've met Rebecca and talked about this already.
Yeah.
And just yesterday, we had a meeting with the Mid-Maine Homeless Shelter about partnering on this project. So I think if we can get informed on potential projects from the council that are of priority to the city, I think figuring out housing issues is a huge problem here, right? So if we look at something like that maybe coming up, but I think the more that we get in front of you guys and talk about that, the more information we have to structure projects, and the better chance we have of real outcomes from those projects. If you guys want us every council meeting here, it's a question for this guy, but yeah.
Well, and I think in being creative and exploring new opportunities. So I had a group of 3 students just finish a semester-long project in collaboration with GMRI that involved them calling 130 harbor masters and tax assessors along the working waterfront. Like, we don't have time to call 130 harbor masters to identify specific pieces of vulnerable property and their insurance status. Undergrads at Colby do. But I'll also say, while it was grunt work and it was tedious, it was an incredibly rewarding experience. Nothing else in the curriculum would bring them in communication with the community that they are members of, at least for this short duration, than that. So it was unequivocally rewarding. And I hope to do something within our own backyard, literally, in our own community of Waterville.
Yeah. Councilor Green.
One other quick question. What is IRB?
So IRB is an institutional review board that is a federal mandate that every college and university that does research on human subjects has to have.
Okay.
Our IRB is chaired and has a faculty council. If we ever get into a position where we are actively interviewing people, or any of the data that comes across my desk has a risk of breaking standards of anonymity or confidentiality, Colby will handle the entire review process for making sure that data are secured, managed in compliance with federal regulations and just general ethics, and all of our students will also be trained according to our internal IRB standards. To date, nothing that I've seen that the city has collected already crosses those standards, but it's something I take seriously, of course.
Thank you.
James.
Sorry, is this program open to only Colby students, or is it open to students from other colleges across Waterville?
So again, it's a pilot. Like, this is the first time that we're trying something like this. I think in the future, when I first started thinking about this partnership, and thank you even to Cornell just to allow us to pursue something like this in the first place, but I think it would be really compelling to have teams of students from a number of local colleges and universities looking at problems for the city. I've talked to the Growth Council actually about something around that. So yeah, I think that's certainly on the table at some point. Maybe not right now, but something to work towards. And if that's something we want to talk about with the Youth Council, that could be interesting as well, maybe even high school students.
Mm-hmm. Councilor Klepek.
Hi. So I've been on this council for 5 years, and one of the my main goals has been to try to get grants and for different initiatives that make the city better. I was the chair of the now defunct, but hopefully not permanently, Resiliency Committee. And I can tell you from the work that we did on that committee that there's an endless list. We generated an endless list of things that there's data that needs to be analyzed, exactly the work that you've outlined for these students around, for example, the threat of extreme storm events here in the town called Waterville, with the confluence of 3 different rivers right here in our backyard. And the big impediment to those ambitions I've had has been, just personnel bandwidth. We had a person here, Michael Hall, that worked on the Resiliency Committee for a little while, and during that short window, we were able to make pretty remarkable progress. I think, we're going to, in the update for the council goals, I think in the packet, there's a section pretty much should be retitled the stuff Michael Hall was able to achieve while he was here. But he's not here. Another point that I would make in parallel is that I have myself, in a number of instances, tried to get students involved in the city, the work that I did with brown-tailed moths. But and that was based upon, independent study through a faculty, right? I have another one similarly engaged in forensics for this spring. But this model that you have here is much more powerful. It's exactly the kind of structure that I had been hoping for, wanting, looking for, needing. The city needs it. I can tell you that exactly the sorts of things that you're hoping to achieve, there is such a wide and deep need for this. And so I hope that, community paramedicine, perfect place to start. It's already a success story that is imperiled, but you can reinforce it in all the ways that you've already described. So it's like a perfect proof of principle. I hope, as at least for the remainder of the evening, I am the Ward 3 counselor of the 2,200 people that I represent. 800 of them are Colby students. And so I would hope and encourage my constituents, that segment of my constituency, to take very seriously the responsibility of their privilege as resourced constituents here in Waterville, to donate their effort to become a part of this public policy lab, to use their talents in whatever way to make their community better. Those people, those constituents of mine have in the past, since I've been here, there have been challenges to their legitimacy as true constituents of Waterville, and that have been overcome. And so I'm very, very excited for this opportunity for some residents of Waterville to be able to more directly engage in our small but hopeful democracy here. So thank you very much for the two of you seeing each other in the dark and realizing how this could happen here for us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you both. Yeah, very much. I'm pretty excited about this, and reading through the MOU, a lot of great things here to happen, to come down the pipe. And again, excited for the pilot and hope for all good things. And at least we learn a little bit so that when we do this again, we identify any barriers that we stumbled upon the first time and correct them for the second time. So thank you both for this effort. So with that, I will, all those in favor? Wonderful. Onward, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay. Moving on to Resolution 235, 2025.
There might be some
What?
signing happening.
It's fine.
Refer to the Planning Board zoning map amendment, 70 Pleasant Street.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Jonathan, you want to come speak to your project, please?
Hi, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to come and speak with you tonight. For those of you who don't know me, my name is John Godbout. I'm a resident of Waterville. I wear a bunch of different hats in the city, but tonight I come to you as the CEO of a company called Nova Nord. About a year and 3 months ago, I was approached after doing a presentation on a property redevelopment I had done in Cincinnati to look at Sacred Heart Church at 70 Pleasant Street. And over the past year and 4 months, I've been doing a lot of due diligence. My father did a very similar church in Biddeford that was completed last December, who is my main advisor on the project. And what I'm asking today, and I'm happy to talk more about the project, is 70 Pleasant Street, or the former Sacred Heart Church, is a contract zone, meaning that at the time of sale, there's some rezoning. I have some plans that will be discussed with the planning board in a lot of detail, but at a high level, the intent is to turn the church into a community center of sorts with a test kitchen and a few maybe performing arts space, really trying to open this up to the community. Happy to answer questions. I am currently in the process of closing on the property. I've been holding a lease on it and running a co-working space since Ware Butler was sold to Hammond over the summer to make sure that there's oil in the tanks, the heat's on, the water runs, the place is secure. And now I'm looking forward to moving on to the next stage where we can bring this site back to life fully. So for questions, I'd love to hear.
Councilor Beal.
I don't have a question. I went on a tour that you gave this summer, and it was amazing, the ideas that y'all have. So I was very impressed with your approach and the energy you bring to this, and I plan on approving it for moving it to the planning board.
Thank you, Councilor Beal. That means a lot.
Councilor Gill.
You said a community center. Is it for like at-risk youth? Test kitchen? Are you going to be like teaching culinary?
So it's a mixed-use space. The intent is to, at completion, have a triple net lease that's for the church on its own, where it will be run as a nonprofit. The intent is to have a nonprofit board. It was going to need a lot of different things. Early concepts are a test kitchen, maybe kind of an open hall type space upstairs where maybe food trucks could sell during the winter, kind of an indoor-outdoor space, maybe a coffee shop. Again, these are all things that would go up front of the planning board for discussion. The intent is to govern that church as a nonprofit so that we can get community engagement and input into what it's used for, but to create a sort of self-sustaining model through rents. It could be, renting for events and stuff. I've talked to the community at length. One of the promises that I will keep is there is no intent to turn this into a late night facility in good faith to the neighborhood. Again, these are all things I'm sure will be discussed a lot in the planning board. But and then the last part is to turn the basement perhaps into a performing arts space, to create some more performing arts room in the city.
Sounds fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And you're sitting at the edge of your seat. Please, come on.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
To clarify, this resolution doesn't concern the church building itself, and maybe this was a misunderstanding. The property, this former Sacred Heart property, is in 3 different zones. The church itself is still in the residential D zone, and it was my understanding you wanted to talk about just the church office building at this time.
Sorry, that I should clarify. Yeah, so one of the issues is that sale. The Ware Butler, or now the Riverside Partners, which are the remaining owners of Ware Butler that still hold the property, they have a contracted zone with the city for the 2 other buildings on the site, which we are currently running as co-working space. And so the intent here is to maintain that zoning so we can continue to take in rents as office space while we work on the larger plan for the property, because I'm about to change ownership here in the next week. But also, I would like to go to the planning board. This is a referral to the planning board too, or no? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, yes. We'd like to go to the planning board to go through the full site plan as well.
Any council questions, concerns? James?
I'm just wondering, in regards to the actual main chapel itself, the actual church, are you guys buying that? And if so, what are your plans for it? Do you plan to maintain the historical integrity of the building?
Yeah, and actually, the intent is, so it can never be used for religious purposes again. It's been written to the deed. But the intent is to maintain as much as we possibly can. There are some upgrades that will be required from a heating system standpoint. There are things that need to be done for things like fire suppression. The intent is to do those in a way that maintains the edifice inside as much as possible, and also finding ways to conserve heat. The oil bill is getting a little high in the last few weeks here. So,
yeah, all right. So it's not just my house. All right, wonderful. Any other questions, comments? All right, with that, I will, all those in favor? Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. We certainly appreciate that. Best of luck. Look forward to hearing some updates as you move along this process. Okay, moving on to Resolution 236, 2025.
Refer to the planning board zoning ordinance amendment variances.
Move to adopt.
Second.
All right. Dan, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you, folks?
Doing great.
Good. So currently, our zoning ordinance is written such that if a person wanted to install a wheelchair ramp to access their home because they had a disability, and there's a setback issue, they would have to go before the zoning board of appeals to get a variance, which is time-consuming and a little bit costly, and it requires their presence at the zoning board of appeals meeting. So I broached this with Bill Lee, and he brought to my attention the state statute that allows the city by ordinance to let the code enforcement officer make the determination whether or not the situation should have a variance. It's specific to handicap accessible equipment and anything associated with it, and just is about setbacks, basically.
Yeah, I read through. I think this is great. I think it kind of falls in line with all of the other things that we're trying to do to kind of remove barriers and things like that, to kind of make decisions, make informed decisions, but make them quickly, like we do with delegated review and things of that nature, just kind of move projects and things along. So I think this is fantastic. So thank you very much. Any comments or questions from the council? Yeah, Cal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's more work for you. Thank you very much.
No, it's fine. I'd
Waterville.
rather do that. I'd rather do this. And if there's an issue with like a front setback, we would consult with Public Works to make sure there's no issues with snow removal or expansion or in the right of way or anything like that.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think that's fantastic. Okay, with that, all those in favor? Wonderful. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay, moving on to Ordinance 237, 2025.
Amend the zoning map, 25 Elm Street.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Okay, so this, I believe, this went to the planning board. This was on our agenda a few weeks ago, a few meetings ago. This went to the planning board. This is the garage over on Elm Street. Was looking to put it back as a garage. We have the planning board met, and their memo was included in the thing where they did recommend it 5-0. Any questions, comments, or concerns? We do have Ann here. She can speak to anything that you might have to discuss. Seeing none. Then all of those in favor? All right, wonderful. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to, so we have a couple discussion items this evening. The first up is the Fire and EMS Advisory Committee charge. I know we spoke about this a few meetings ago also. I know administration put together a draft charge, which was sent out for review and discussion, very similar to what we did with the Recreation Committee. So, Cornell, you want to, anything you want to add?
Yeah, as you mentioned a few meetings ago, there was discussion around forming this committee, and the discussion was a little vague. So the chief and I met, and we've put together this draft of what we thought we heard during that discussion. So we just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page before we bring it up for adoption at the January meetings.
All right. With that, any counselor comment, any questions? I mean, it's pretty...
It's pretty, it's right there. So I think it's well written. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, really.
I wonder if someone could just say a little bit more about the reimbursement rates versus the revenue streams. And particularly expand types of calls that are billable.
Chief?
That's actually something we're working on right now. We have a bunch of things going on right now, and thanks to Flavia, she's helping us out tremendously. We have a bill that we've put forth. It was an LR. Doesn't have an LD number yet. It's getting close, though. There's a lot of chatter around the state about this bill that we've tried to put forth. So number one, what that does is allows us to expand what we can bill for now, CP being one of them. We cannot bill insurance companies for CP. And also treat in place. So if we go to someone's home, and I think we discussed this a little bit the last meeting, if we go to someone's home today, we treat them, we spend an hour there trying to get their blood glucose level up, we spend time, we spend effort, and we also use some of our materials, and they decide at the end of it they don't want to go to the hospital. Well, we can't kidnap them and take them there, but we also can't bill the insurance companies. We can bill the residents, if we so choose, but we cannot bill insurance companies. So this would allow us to expand into being able to do that. It also, part of this is also to be able to, right now when somebody gets in the back of our ambulance, we have to take them to the ER. That is the only option that we have. This bill would also allow us to take people to appropriate facilities where they really belong at the time. So if somebody wants a detox, is having a substance abuse problem, is having some type of mental episode, we can help them by taking them to the appropriate facility. A lot of times they go to the ER, they sit there for days and days and days and days until they decide, I don't want to do this anymore, and then they leave. That we're not helping anybody by doing that. This would allow us to take people to the appropriate facilities at the time. And also on top of that, we just met with QMC the other day, which is our billing company. We're going to start talking about rates with them. They believe that our rates are a little bit behind the national standards. So after the holidays, we're going to meet with them again and start talking about where our billing rates are at and where they should be, and we'll be coming back to the council with some billing rates. The new cost recovery program that we're running, I have signed all the paperwork. That's been sent to them. We're waiting for them to get back to us once that takes effect. Part of that was we can get a lower rate if we go to national standards because we're quite a bit behind. So we'll also be coming to you folks with some new billing rates on cost recovery. So those are the type of things that we had put into this charge, and we've already started working on it. So we might have some good topics of discussion when this kicks off, where we're almost where we need to be. But it's pretty interesting. Lots of things that, like QMC, I can't say enough about this company and what they do for us. We sit with them ever more so than me, but I've been starting to sit quite a bit because they're very interesting to listen to. And to hear them say, you really could probably up your rates a little bit. I think we need to take that, and we need to look at that. Those are the type of things that we need to do. Is it going to pay for that ambulance run? Absolutely not. Can we get closer so that we can try to bridge that gap a little bit? I think we can, and I think we owe it to our citizens to be able to try to do that. So those are the charges that we'll be bringing forth on that end anyways.
All right.
Yeah, I guess as I recall the discussion, there was concern about the next budget, right? So just trying to keep, find ways to be as efficient as possible with the resources we have. And obviously, we've approved 4 new personnel. If there were a way to make some changes that would prevent adding 4 more, I think that, to me, that would be an important part of why we have this committee, to really balance the need for an excellent fire and EMS department in the face of these rising costs and accelerating needs. So that's my only comment there.
Anyone else? Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So just council consensus, I'm not hearing any huge changes with regard to how this is outlined now. Rebecca, I don't know if there's something specific that you want to add to this. Otherwise, we're going to put this on an agenda for, a vote, next meeting. You don't have to make a decision now, just let us know so we can get that into the document that you all vote on next year. So
yeah, I'd be very interested if they had some kind of part of their charter to deal with, ideas for possibly controlling the price increases. And I know they're working on it, but that's kind of the big thing that we need to address.
You say price increases, what price increases are you talking? Just
any.
Huh?
How can they do their job without, us having to go back and ask for more money?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It seems that, it's implied in some of these items, right? I mean, if there is a new legislation which is for the treat in place, that means that you're not going to Augusta as often, to the ER, right? I mean, and when we talked last week, you know, it sounded like, I mean, you know, I think you recognize that anytime we don't have to go to Augusta, that's going to be good for us as a city, and probably for many of the patients, you know, in light of what you were talking about, getting them to the right facility that's appropriate for their needs, as opposed to just a blanket, we're taking you to the ER in Augusta. So anyway, I just wanted to remember the big picture, which is that we're trying to deal with a situation which is that we have more calls and less revenue. So, you know, I think it'll be great to have this committee, and I just think that we need to be looking at any ways that we can increase efficiencies and make sure that people still get the care they need.
Councilor Keepak.
I agree with what has been said thus far, and I would add to it, pointing out from the document that we have in front of us that in the scope of work is the preparation of findings, and specifically, explicitly in the third item under the scope is analysis, specifically analysis. So what I'm getting at is the importance of data analysis, and making sure that that the committee, not we, but the committee is in its advisory role is being led by an astute analysis of the data, all data, not just cost, but certainly volume, quality of care, whatever the metrics are. Defining the metrics for that analysis is going to be, I imagine, part of the initial charge of that committee. But you know, we just heard from a public policy lab here. This is the kind of thing, why that sort of thing exists, right? Is making sure that you know, the wealth of data that's being generated in Chief Frost's department there is really being examined closely.
Right, absolutely, and yeah, that's important.
All right. Yes, Councilor Beal.
Everything I heard the chief say was good. I mean, you're doing what we want you to do, but what I would like to do is just make it more explicit. I propose that we change the purpose statement and we add, after recommending strategies to enhance fire and EMS functions, while controlling cost as much as practical. Just, I mean, that's what we're trying to do. And I know you're doing that. And everything you said is along that line. So I just want to put it in the purpose statement.
A point. How is that not contained within the statement of fiscal responsibility? Is what you're proposing different than fiscal responsibility?
That's a good point. Okay, I'll withdraw.
Okay.
But that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Okay. All right, great. Moving on next to an update on council goals.
So you adopted goals back in March, I think, but we really didn't get them. Well, no, you had goal session, and then you adopted them in August or September, I think. And I said we'd get you an update in a few months. My thought was to get you the update in time for your goals session next month, so you can see how it's gone. I think I'd mentioned when you first brought up goals that in my past experience, staff would provide updates to the council every 3 or 4 months or so. So I put this out to the staff, and their responses are enclosed in the draft you have before you. I would note that you have been, I'd say, very successful in obtaining grants this past year.
Well, yeah, I think we noted Michael Hall's contribution to that, amongst others, though.
I'd like to thank you for doing this. It will make it a lot easier when we go into our next meeting. So
Yeah.
appreciate you and the staff putting this together. Thank you.
I would also point out it's been 5 years for me, longer for Councilor DeBrito here on the council. And this is the first time I've seen this. We haven't had one of these before, right? So, Mr. Cloutier, yeah, take notes, please. Yeah, this is the right way to do it for sure.
Yeah, I second that. There's a lot of detail here, and it's very encouraging to see the progress that's been made on the issues that we identified. So thank you to Cornell and Sarah and all the staff for working so hard on these issues.
I think when you adopt them, when you have your session in January, and I assume you'll adopt them within a month or so, and then get them out to the council, so the council, staff, and so they keep that in front of them all year.
Yeah, we had an issue. I didn't realize they just went to a small group. I thought when he sent them out, they went to the entire group, and so I think that was the issue. So we'll clean that up as we move, for this next one for sure, and make sure that we get this out to everybody and adopt them relatively quickly after having this this session. So, yeah, all right. Any questions with regard to any of the bullet points or discussion, or I guess the updates on any of the goals or the priorities while we have Cornell here? Anyone have any questions or concerns with any of them, or want to address anything different? Yes, Council Klepek.
What's the status of the main DOT bicycle and pedestrian funding program?
The one in the north end?
Yeah, this 735K.
Yeah, I think we're still waiting to hear on that.
Any
no, there was
rumors?
Not the last time I met with the engineer, no. But I'll make a point to ask him if there's
a timeline
something.
on that.
I'll get it out to you.
Yeah, well,
before I leave.
Yeah. Right. Before I leave. I would point out, I already made this point tonight, but I'm going to make it again since we have all this right in front of our eyeballs right now, that, one of the themes here tonight was, capacity. Departments they want grants. They see the needs, but the question is, do they have the capacity to get those grants written? Chief Frost has a remarkable team with him. They've done a lot of their own grant writing over there. Many of the grants under the admin department, those were written by an individual who's no longer with the city. That seat is vacant. And I guess I've made the point many times since the loss of, even before the loss of Michael Hall, but having a quality personnel in that role, it more than pays for itself. It more than pays for itself. It is, I'm not going to get to vote on the next budget, but I would just, in as strong a terms as possible, encourage this council to remember that investment, the return on that investment is multiple fold. And, I know it can be scary to try to sell that message to the constituents of Waterville who may not completely understand it, but the story is right there. The story is right there, and learning how to communicate that story effectively to the citizens of Waterville, that's key. That's key. Our new city manager talked about tax assessment that went successfully, and part of that was communication and outreach, and making sure that the community understands the story. There's a real story to be told here that has the danger of disappearing, right, if that role is forgotten about. So that was a little bit of a proof of principle that I hope the city learns the lesson of. So that's, if we want to achieve goals, we need to make investments to be able to get those returns.
You most certainly can. Thank you.
We obviously were very fortunate this year. We got like almost $411,000 in grants.
Oh, turn the mic on.
We were fortunate. We did really good with grants this year. It's not just the grant writing is actually pretty easy. It's the after effects of a grant. When you have a 2 and 3 year grant, like a lot of our grants are, especially when they come out of the FEMA office, it's the follow-up, it's the after reports. So right now we have 6 open grants through FEMA, and if we get one for next year, then we'll have 7, and they start to become this huge thing that you have to do quarterly reports on and progress reports on, and it takes a lot of time. Now, we're fortunate, and I am so happy that we were able to do that, but I miss Michael Hall because it does take a lot of time, and I think that sometimes when as department heads, I can't speak for everybody, but there are some grants that you look at and you're like, there is absolutely no way that I can get the information together in the time needed and then still be able to take care of our departments. And that's where people he comes along and you're like, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. This is a breath of fresh air. Michael Hall was invaluable to me as a department head to be able to even just ask him questions, because some of this stuff is so far above me that I am not sure. If it was on fire, I could put it out. But with grant writing, it's a technical expertise, to be honest with you. And some people are really, really good at it, like Michael Hall, and that was a big one we lost him. So it's not just the grants, it's the after effect and taking care of those grants properly so that we are eligible to apply for them again. Because if you have a misstep and you get kicked out of some grant processes, you're not getting back into it. And that worries me every day, so.
Can I
Yes.
just thank you for bringing that up, because I think that is the other side of the coin, right? We have been fortunate that we've had many grants in the last couple of years, but we also need someone who is overseeing the big picture for the city, right? All the departments, and do we have that capacity to manage? And really, is this in our best interest to go after this? So I think, again, whether it's Nick or someone else who is hired to keep an eye on this, I think it's a very important part of sustainability for the city going forward. As wonderful as it is when you get that award letter.
I do agree.
There's
and
the after effect.
We lost out on, I think we lost out on a big opportunity last year. We had Susan Collins' office contacted us. We had a meeting with her office the other day, and they told us we missed out on a pretty big opportunity because we're all, as department heads and leaders in this, we're all trying to write grants, and we wrote so many of them that we literally lost out on them all because they're like, we can't write that many grants. We can't give that much money to Waterville. That's impossible. So we have to, somebody taking care of all that would be great.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm surprised that Councilor Green didn't, challenge you on the grant writing is easy. It's not easy because otherwise everybody would have money.
I don't think he said that. I think he said the
That's
opposite.
the easier part of it.
Okay.
It's taking care of it afterwards.
There is definitely a skill in writing these things and telling the story and things like that. So it is quite an art form, and those that do it well are very far and few in between. So
To that point, however, I would also remind the council that another individual that's not with the city any longer, Joe Grochmal, one of the initiatives that he was undertaking but never completed was an assessment of the various ways in which there could be improvements in efficiency and capacity through the use of AI, right? So reporting seems like one way that the city could fruitfully use that technology to manage, basic wordsmith reporting requirements. I mean, that AI is not going to do this big picture management that requires the executive function of an individual, but there are sort of secretarial tasks that are incumbent upon a grant recipient that there are technologies that can expedite that sort of thing.
As a follow-up, maybe the Colby has had a big push on AI. Maybe we could get some help from them and working with the city on how to use AI to improve our policy generation.
I would add one more piece to that. Is all these grants have to go through the finance department, and it is getting quite a juggling act to keep all the balls in the air on this when they're also doing payroll and payable and balance the books and whatnot and add on 30 grants. So also keep that in mind.
I agree. All right. Any other further discussion with regard to our goals? All right, wonderful. So listen, this is our last meeting of the year. I have on here, thank you. Just thank you to you as a council as we take a look at this. This council looked through and voted on 237 items throughout the course of the year. Some of them, passed along more than multiple meetings. Some of them were relatively quick hits, but all of them important to, the city and the people that, they impacted. So thank you to all of you. Also, I want to make recognition that this is Councilor Klepak's last meeting. Thank you very much for the last 5 years. I've learned more about brown toil moths than I'd ever hoped that I ever would in my life, but I appreciate it.
Not recently.
Not recently, but like over the course since you've been on the council, which has been great. And I did say something to you one time. I said, there was one conversation that we had, and I was like, wow, that was a really good conversation. I'm like, I didn't have to go back to my dictionary and look up any words that you've used. I'm like, which is great. So I've expanded some vocabulary. I'm like, oh, what does this mean? I'm like, well, why don't you just say this? Well, that's just because it's you. Like, you don't say the simple. Like, great. So I appreciate that. We do have just a little something here for you. So thank you very much. And I know, Councilor Green, I think you said you wanted to say a few words as well, so please.
Yes, I do have a few words to say about my colleague, Tom Klepak. One of the great things about public service is rolling up your sleeves and solving problems with people you wouldn't normally meet and don't always agree with. And that is very good practice in these times. I actually knew Tom before we joined the council together in 2020. But now I have had the great privilege of working with him and sometimes disagreeing with him on many issues that require understanding complex situations, data, budgets, maps, all kinds of instruments that help us imagine the present and the future of our city. Not many city councils in Maine can boast having the expertise of a biologist, but Tom is so much more. He's interested in everything: history, music, art, literature, medicine, technology, and he's incredibly knowledgeable on them as well. Hence the big words and the eloquence. I'm gonna skip over the brown-tail moths because Tom has contributed so much more than that, which was admittedly an essential service to the city. But he's also really helped us think about our environmental issues, chaired the Resiliency Committee, and most recently has been a very passionate defender of the need for our life-saving emergency services, which I really appreciate. We need that voice, and we need the passion that he has for people. He's also helped us see the big picture on recreation, particularly through his involvement with Quarry Road and his vision for a renewed waterfront, which will outlast his time on the council, I hope. I will miss you, Tom, and I want to thank you for your passionate enthusiasm for our city, your attention to the issues we face, and your optimism for our future. Tom sees Waterville as a place of abundance and possibility, and he has consistently helped us see the great potential we have as a community. So thank you so much. You're irreplaceable, and you will be greatly missed.
Thank you very much. I will just take this last opportunity then to speak one last time. And that is to say that we are all very lucky to live here. People have lived here for potentially 10,000 years. And it is a remarkable place to live. It is a very special place to live. The Taconic Falls is the reason that they lived here, but not just the falls. It is the life that was in that river, the fish that were in that river, that are still in that river. And those waters can teem once again. I really look forward to seeing that day. I feel that Waterville is going to have an opportunity to tell an international success story based upon the potential in that river. There's more than just the potential in that river, though. My true message that I would like to share is that it's just one of community service, community involvement. Being on the city council, I see that as being just the duty of any typical citizen to be a participant in their community. That's what good communities are. That's what democracies flourish with, or whatever form of government. It's about the people in that community choosing to feed into, to invest in their community. I don't know, I'm not sure, but it feels like that spirit of community service, community volunteerism, the ability to carve out a little bit of your time and donate it in whatever way to make your community better is maybe on the decline across the United States. And that makes me sad, but I maybe it's not true, I don't know. But here in Waterville, we have the choice, we have the opportunity to come together as a community in whatever way. Not everybody needs to be a city councilor. Jesus, yeah, hopefully there are people a little bit wiser than that, better ways to serve their community. But everybody can help their community in some way, and from the unhoused up to the biggest mansion or whatever, I don't know. Everybody can contribute to their community, and the best communities are ones where everyone that's in that community recognizes that and realizes that. So, yeah, thank you. It's been my honor and real privilege to be with all of you, every single one of you. Good luck.
Awesome.
With that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
One more thing, just before. So with that, again, any other comments? Okay. This is our last meeting of the year, so we come back here on January 6th. So happy holidays to everyone. Happy New Year. And we look forward when we come back here on January 6th. We will have a new council here. We will have a new city manager there. So we will look a little bit different, but all here working together to do the same thing and then do the best thing for what we can for the citizens of Waterville. So enjoy the next couple of weeks, and yeah, we'll see you back here on January 6th. So thank you. Now, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There we go. Thank you.